Good morning and a warm welcome to the fourth Swiss Text Analytic Conference, SwissText 2019. I'm very pleased to stand here in front of you for the fourth time. We started in 2016, hoping that we have about 60 people coming to our conference. We reserved a small room, and then we moved to Winterthur here to get a larger room. And now I'm very happy to see that we have many people on the right-hand side, not so many on the left-hand side. I don't know why. I will try to stand in the middle. So if I'm moving to the right-hand side, just let me know, okay? We will have 2 days with a full and packed program, and I will make now a short introduction of how it works, do some organizational stuff, and also tell you a little bit about what we think happened last year in natural language processing, and then we start with the first keynote. I hope you had all a good trip here today and are ready and prepared to start. Like every year, I make a short reference to last year, what we changed in comparison to last year. Before I do that, let me just check who was here already last year. Okay, who has been here for 2 times? 3 times? 4 times? Okay, 4 or 5 people. So, in comparison to last year, we changed a little bit, we extended a little bit. We now have a demo session, which will happen tomorrow. So when today the poster session is, there will be a demo session where you can interactively talk to people and see what they implemented. We will have a legal session, so we will have a legal expert tomorrow who will answer your questions. I had some déjà vu from my lectures. Whenever I send out a mail to all students and say, could you send me your questions about the lecture, because we do a question and answering session, then there is basically no reply. The same was for the legal sessions. I sent an email to you, I guess you received it, saying, could you send me your open questions about legal issues in NLP and data science? And we received 1 reply, so there will be a very short session tomorrow. So if you still have questions, just drop an email to me, and I will prepare the legal expert to such that he doesn't really have to answer them out of the blue. And then third new thing is that we had a shared task on text summarization, and the results will be presented also tomorrow in the morning, if I'm correctly. So, who is here in the room? I already asked how often you have been here. I want to give you a short impression of who you are. I mean, you know who you are, but maybe not who your neighbor is. So let's start with that. But your neighbor, you probably know, so I suggest that the first row turns around and greets the second row, third row to the fourth row, and so on, such that you know at least 2 new people today. So just turn around and say hello. I am sorry to interrupt you. I see that it works perfectly, but I would like to continue. So if you had a great start of a discussion about NLP problems, there will be lots of breaks. I hope you learned something new already. If you heard some laughter at the beginning, that was the cluster here in the front in the right corner, because the first row turned around and knew everybody in the second row, because these are the people who organized the conference. So that was not the idea, but okay. Okay, I'm proud to say that we are increasing every year. We started with about 170 participants. Oh no, that doesn't look so good. So let's change the scale a little bit. So we are increasing every year. And we are data scientists, so we can make it look very good. And we are now at about 220 participants. The last, Matthias, registered yesterday in the evening, I think, which makes it hard for us to prepare everything for every person. So maybe next year, one day earlier. Okay? Where do you come from? Well, of course, from Switzerland. We are trying to spread over all Switzerland. But still, there is a large cluster around Zurich and in the German-speaking part. We will hopefully change that next year when we join the SwissTex conference with the Convents conference, which is an international scientific conference. They will be joined together at the same location. And then we will have not only these countries, but hopefully even more international guests. I will tell you more about this tomorrow in the afternoon in the closing session. Where do you work? Or where do your colleagues or neighbors work? Now this is from 2018. And we always say, well, it's a mixture of people from academia and industry. And if you look at it, yeah, it's about half is from research and half is from SMEs, small and medium enterprises, and some large companies above 10,000 employees. Now this year it changed a little bit. We have much more large companies, which means that many of these SMEs are now above 10,000 employees, hopefully. We have a lot of research institutions who joined us. Many more than last year. Last year we had about 12 or 13, and I'm very proud to have them here. And we had also more companies. This is still 219, should be 220. I only listed those companies where you made the click on I want to be on the list of participants. There is also some participants who don't want to be on the list, and their company name is not mentioned here. If you want to be on the company list and you don't find yourself here on the list, just drop me a mail, and I will add it to the slides which go online. Sometimes it's good. And then we have some nice tradition here, which I started in the first SwissTex conference. If you haven't been here, there are only 3 people who have been here. I was so keen to have the first registrant that I said the first registrant will get some chocolate. And since then, we do that for every first registrant. And this time it is Mon Amours from Post. There it is. And I also brought a small one for your colleague Sarah, who was just 3 minutes behind you. So I know she isn't here today, so I would appreciate if you take it for her. So, good morning. So, what happened in the last 12 months in natural language processing, text analytics? I would like to do a short review of what we consider the 5 most important events or technologies or new things that happened. I'm pretty sure this is incomplete and you will have a different opinion of what is important and what you think is new and revolutionary. But I think we don't have the time, unfortunately, to discuss it here. So I would like to start with, say, the most impressive application in my point of view. And that was IBM Debater. Okay, now you have to explain that. Did you develop IBM Debater? You are from IBM. Okay. So, and I think you're not even sponsor, right? Which is a pity. Okay. So, IBM Debater, if you don't know what happened, it was developed over a couple of years, and the goal was to compete with a human debater, and the human debater is, I have to read the name, Arish Natarajan, who is the winner of the human debate competition. There is apparently some competition in debating, and the idea was that they make a debate against each other in 3 phases: an opening, then a rebuttal where they cover the arguments of their opponent, and then a closing statement. And it was public, and it was really impressive. They were both given the task and the topic of the debate, which was whether in the United States the preschool should be subsidized. Only 50 minutes before starting, and then IBM Debater aggregated searched in billions of documents, aggregated some information from that, and made some nice intro speech and nice arguments in favor of having subsidized preschools. And if you listen to that, it sounds like a pre-recorded text that is just spoken by the computer. It's really impressive. In the end, there was some voting, and the human won, which is okay still. But, and this is interesting, there was also the question who had the most informative arguments, and that was IBM Debater. So it was a male IBM Debater. I don't know how you determine the gender of a debater, but they figured it out somehow. And in the end, the audience said that the information transfer was much better from the debater because it had a lot of information available and gave it to the audience. So it was really impressive. If you have a chance, it's a 40 minutes video. It's really cool. Now, IBM Debater was built with a huge amount of work from humans. Aggregating data, labeling data, implementing stuff. Snorkel is a new approach to eliminate the human in the loop in machine learning, in a way. The idea is we have 3 phases in machine learning usually, that is data aggregation and labeling. Then we have feature engineering, and then we have to train the model. Now feature engineering in a way vanishes with deep learning. We don't have to do manual feature engineering anymore, which is cool. And training the model and picking the right hyperparameters vanishes in a way, hopefully, with AutoML, automatic machine learning. So the huge amount of effort is still in the labeling phase. And Snorkel tries to remove that by introducing weakly labeled supervision learning. And the idea is that you write some very simple rules that determine how, say in a classification task, a positive and negative text could be distinguished. Or in named entity recognition, what is an entity, what is typically forms of entities that occur in text. And then it parses unlabeled data and extracts weak signals from this data and generates these noisy training data. And with that, you can, without labeling any data, beat standard classification systems, even if they have a huge amount of training data. So they did some experiments and showed that, that you can be on par with systems that had about 12,000 or even 80,000 different types of documents, depending on the task that you did, without labeling anything by hand. Cool technology, very recent, so we don't know yet whether it will really outperform in all tasks that you want to do, but it's a promising technology. If you look at the literature and go into really deep technology, then 2018 and 19 could be considered the year of the language model. Who has heard of different, type of language models? Like, I picked two of them, Elmo and BERT, mainly because they have so nice acronyms, but there are others like FLAIR and no, it doesn't. Which other ones? GPT, right? And there is one other which I wanted to mention. Forget it. So, what is the idea? You train a huge amount of unlabeled data again, and get a language model that represents the meaning of the words. It's something like the continuation of word embeddings on a much higher level, and they also reach a tremendous performance in many tasks. So out of the box, without any additional supervised training, they can, or with only a very small amount of supervised training, they can outperform state-of-the-art systems in many tasks already. And I think it is a promising direction, and this is something that will change the way we do natural language processing in the future. Okay. I think I will skip GPT. If you want to discuss that, it's a fake news generator, so to say, which was taken away from the net after 2 days. It was published by OpenAI, and they had such a good model that they could generate new texts. But in the end, they said, we can generate also fake news like this. This is totally generated text, which reads like a news article. And we don't want to publish it because we think it's too dangerous. So this is, in a way, the first time that someone took away a very good model and didn't make it public. They made a smaller model publicly available, but they said, we cannot do that with this model because there is too much risk that it will be abused and misused. Final story that I found interesting was about smart speakers. Especially about Alexa, Amazon Alexa, because in February people found out that Amazon Alexa is not only a speaker, but it can also record voice. And there was a huge amount of news articles, especially in the United States, where people said, Alexa can spy on you because it can record your voice, and Amazon employees can even listen to that. Cool, huh? That's really a revolutionary insight. I mean, for most of you, it might have been clear, but apparently users were not aware that if you speak to Alexa, then Amazon will record it, and it will be on their data servers, and it will be possible to listen to it. And there was an outcry, and it reminded me a little bit of the discussion about smoking in the 70s, where people pretended to not know that smoking is dangerous. So maybe in the future we should put on the box of these smart speakers something like this. Okay. Last thing I would like to mention is in Switzerland, fits very well with the discussion about data with Alexa and co. And that's an initiative to build data codices. And there are two parallel initiatives at the moment that I know of. That's by Economy Suisse and Swiss Alliance for Data Intensive Services, which are both writing a codex about how to work with data and how to properly handle data and how you can convince your users or even guarantee your users that you are not doing any misuse with the data. And both were presented, at least where I was, in February, so it's very recent and it's worth reading them. Okay, now I know I have to hurry up again. So let's switch a little bit back to organizational issues. The program, I hope, is clear. You had all the program in the conference back. We start with a keynote by Lisa Gibbs in a couple of minutes, and then there will be a break, and then we have 3 parallel tracks. They will be in this part of the room. We will close the wall here, that part of the room, and another room which I will show you in a minute, on the same floor. And then there is lunch break, and after lunch break we will have the afternoon session with the poster session. We will have, and I'm proud to say that, a data collection starting today for Swiss-German dialects. This is a joint initiative of the University of Zurich, and yeah, Tanja is sitting in the last row over there, and Manfred Vogel is just sitting close. Now, University of Applied Science of Northwestern Switzerland, right? FINW. Yeah, and we started an initiative to solve the Swiss-German speech-to-text problem, and we would invite you to go to our 2 stations, which are here behind this wall, basically, and utter some Swiss-German, which will help us collect the data. Okay, good to know. Wi-Fi access, there is a Wi-Fi where you can just log in, and then you will have to enter your mobile phone number and get a code, and then you have Wi-Fi access. Hopefully it works. Otherwise there are explanations somewhere in this room, I thought, and outside on the walls. Yeah, should be over there. We take videos and pictures. Now the videos will be from behind, so you will not be able to be recognized. If you don't want to be on the pictures, please let us know. If you don't want to be on the videos, I suggest that during the sessions you keep quiet, because it's very hard to cut you out of the video in afterwards, please. Is that okay for everybody? Okay. For the speakers, if you don't want to be recorded, please let Lorenz know in advance. Okay? There are toilets which are a little bit hard to find. You have to go in that direction in the very last corner, and then into the door, and then downstairs. Not so easy. We will have a couple of awards, which will be tomorrow, for the best presentation, the best poster, and the most innovative demo solution. But we will talk about that tomorrow. And finally, we will try to stay in time. I will also try to stay in time, so I hurry up a little bit. If you want to tweet about the event, this is the hashtag, which is SwissTex 2019, of course. This is a floor plan. So we are at the moment in these 2 rooms, and the next room is just in that direction behind the walls, and the parallel track will be in these 3 rooms, and the poster session will be in the foyer, which we already saw, hopefully. Okay, I would like to thank our partners and sponsors. Gold and silver sponsors, which are Swiss, the Data and Service Alliance, the Alliance for Data and Central Services, Swiss TXT, which is not the name of our conference. It's a coincidence. This is a different company, and of course my university and a lot of other partners and sponsors. And I would like to introduce you to Lorenz, who is doing the videos, and Claudia, who is doing the pictures here. I hope that you will find them afterwards on the web and enjoy the recordings. Yes. And as I said, the team is sitting here in front, almost complete. And that's Fernando, who basically did all the work, most of the work. He's kind of the main back office. You can stand up. I would like to thank you already. Okay. And then we have Andrea, Don, Amrita, who is not here at the moment, Jan, Ada, and Connie, who are really helping organizing this event. And so, for the first time since 4 years, I'm exactly in time. You don't have to put that up. Thank you, Manuela. And I would like to introduce, I think we make a 5-minute break to set up your computer, and then I make the introduction.